Do personal injury clients that don't use their own private medical insurance get bigger settlements? Well, after an accident, clients often come to me and say, hey, look, I was in an accident, I went to ER, my medical insurance paid the ER bill. What should I do now? Should I continue using my medical insurance or should I do this attorney lien thing? And for those of you that don't hear about attorney liens all the time, basically an attorney lien is an agreement where a doctor says, hey, I will provide treatment to an injured person now, but I'm going to get paid at the end of the case when it settles or when there's a verdict. And so if you have a case that settles for, say, $50,000, you owe the doctor $10,000, the doctor will take 10 of the 50,000. That's an attorney lien. So recently, Eric, he was hurt in an auto accident. He used his own personal insurance to take care of the ER bills, and he wanted to find out what he should do next, whether he should continue with his personal insurance or whether he should go with an attorney lien. And so the question is unfortunately answered with the very boring attorney answer of it depends. If you have medical insurance and you're trying to figure out whether or not to use it, one of the factors to look at is the size of the accident. If you're in an extremely minor accident and you go to a quick care and the bill's a few $100 and now you're all better, you have no more medical treatment, well, it's probably not worth going through the hassle of a medical lien if it's only going to be a few $100. On the flip side, if you've got really big injuries and a really bad accident, but the person that caused the accident has a minimum limits policy, I'm practicing law here in the state of Nevada. Our minimum limits auto policy is $25,000. So if you've got medical bills that are, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, well, you know that even if the other person paid their entire policy limits, it still wouldn't be enough to cover your medical bills. So in those situations, you're definitely going to want to use your personal insurance. Now, when might you want to use an attorney lien instead? Well, the super simple answer is, well, you don't have insurance. So if there's not another way of paying for it other than writing a check out of your bank account, you probably want to consider using an attorney lien because, again, that way you can get the medical treatment to get you better after an accident without having to come out of pocket. Now, another situation you might use an attorney lien is when you've got insurance that's, I'm not sure the proper term for this, but let's just say it's not the best. You're in a significant accident, you maybe go to ER, they tell you to follow up, you need an MRI, you need to go see a specialist and all these things, and your insurance denies it. Or kind of drag, stumble, and delay, we'll get back to you in a week, a month, a year. But you need treatment so you can get better, so you can get back to work, get back to playing with your kids, just get back to participating in life. So in a situation like that, when your personal insurance is not doing the right thing, you presumably are going to want to consider doing an attorney lien at that time. And then another important factor to consider is at the end of the case, so we already talked about you're going to have to pay back your attorney lien, but if you use your private insurance, whether it's Aetna, Blue Cross, Blue Shield, even Medicare, Medicaid, you're going to have to pay that back at the end also. It's not a free lunch. So whether you do the attorney lien or whether you do private insurance, you're going to have to pay it back when the case resolves, whether it's through a settlement or whether it's through a verdict. Now, getting the medical care is super important because usually when an insurance company or a jury is determining the value of a case, they're going to look at what did you get? What treatment did you get? Did you have to have fusions in your spine or broken bones set, or, was it just a couple of Tylenol? They're going to look at the treatment you got to get better as a factor of how much they're going to give you as an award. They're also going to look, of course, at the cost of the treatment. A case that costs $300 for medical bills is going to be far different than a case that costs $300,000 in medical bills. And also, the medical treatment is very important to determine pain and suffering. Because if you go to a doctor, you use a week of pills and you're all better, your pain and suffering claim might be about a week. But if you go and you've got treatment over the course of months or even years, then you're going to be able to demonstrate pain and suffering over a much longer period of time, increasing the settlement value of your case. If you or someone you care about's been injured and it was somebody else's fault and you've got questions, drop me an email or book a call with me and we can talk about your options. It's no cost, no pressure, no obligation, just answers. Now, my law office is in the state of Nevada, so if you happen to be in Nevada, that's fantastic. If you are in a different state, I do work with lawyers in other states as well. So feel free to contact me. And if I can't help you, I can probably point you to somebody that can.